So in today's session, we are actually discussing about workflows. Workflows are used to automate the process, guys. So workflows are actually in the workflow, you can only write server-side script. In the workflow, you can only write server-side script. Okay. It is server-side script. Okay. So guys, you can create workflow on any table. You can create workflow on any table. So you can create workflow on incident table. You can create workflow on problem table, change table, user table, group table, any table. Okay. So as per our discussion yesterday, the workflow will be triggered only once, whereas business rules will be triggered multiple times. Workflow will be triggered only once, right? So here we have created workflow on incident table yesterday. In today's session, we are going to create workflow for catalog item. We are going to create workflow for catalog item. So when we are actually creating a workflow for catalog item, the workflow should be created on requested item table. The workflow should be created on requested item table. Okay. So well here guys, why are we creating this workflow actually? Why are we creating this workflow? We have actually created a catalog item called iPhone 16 Pro Max catalog item, right? To get that catalog item, we need manager approval. We need manager approval. Only when manager has approved it, the iPhone 16 Pro Max phone will be given to you. If manager has not approved, the phone will not be given to you. Okay. I am just logging into the personal developer instance here. Yeah. So I think I created the catalog item in someone instance. That is not that it is your instance. Yeah. Is that in your instance? Do you have the credential study? Okay. Fine. For now, what I do is let me just get the instance back. Okay. Yeah. Just a moment, guys. Okay. Fine. We have actually created the catalog item in this instance, right? So I'm going to create a workflow here. I'm going to create a workflow editor here. I just opened the workflow editor. In the workflow editor, I can actually create a workflow. I'm creating a new workflow. So for this one, I'm actually giving the name as iPhone 16 Pro Max. The table should be requested item, guys. The table should be requested item table. Okay. Here, this is actually begin activity. This is actually end activity. And in the middle, there is a line. You can use backspace to remove that line. Okay. This is called workflow canvas, guys. In the workflow canvas, you can use core activities. Very first thing, I am using conditional activity. So in the conditional activity, I am using if activity. Guys, it is very important to remember each and every activity. You have to understand each and every activity's purpose. Okay. So each and every activity, what it does and all, you should be able to understand it. So I am using if activity here. So using this if activity, first of all, I want to check if the requester has manager or not. First of all, I want to understand requester has manager or not. Okay. So here you have condition builder here, but you can't access catalog item variables here, guys. You can't access catalog item variables here. Okay. In the condition builder, you cannot actually access catalog item variables here. Okay. Requester is a variable, right? That variable you cannot actually access using this condition builder. So for that, you have to use advanced scripting here. In the advanced scripting, there is a script that is commented by default. There is a script that is commented by default. Okay, this script is commented by default. So you have to uncomment this line of script. So here you can see in the if, right, in the if here, you have to write the condition. Guys, remember catalog item variable values you can access in the workflow. Catalog item variable values you can access in the workflow. How do you access it? Using current dot variables dot variable name requested for. Current dot requested for dot email. Email. Current dot variable dot location. Current dot variables dot department. Current dot variables dot RAM. Current dot variables dot storage. So this is how you will actually access the catalog item variables in the workflow, guys, using current dot variables dot variable name. So I am just checking. So current dot variables dot requested for. Current dot variables dot requested for. Requested for is a reference field, right? Requested for is a reference field. So reference fields can be dot walked. I told you about a dot walking concept, guys. Okay. So you can dot walk the reference fields. Let me just show you. So I'm just going to the incident form. Incident form. So in the incident form, if you take a look at here, so caller is a reference field. The caller is a reference field. So let us say I want caller's manager's department head. Okay. Caller's manager's department head. Or else um, caller's department head name. Okay. Caller department. So caller is actually Alil Motran. Caller department is actually this one. Department head is actually Rob. So if I want caller's department head, I have to use dot walking here. So what I should do here? Current dot. So dot walking, guys. So you should understand about dot walking. So you can only dot walk reference fields. Dot walking reference fields. Okay, if you want to dot walk the caller field in the incident form, current dot caller underscore ID dot department dot department underscore head. You can see current dot u underscore caller dot department field name dot department head. Okay, that is how you will actually dot walk the reference fields. Similarly, I am actually dot walking the requested for variable. Requested for variable is a reference field. Dot manager. Okay, not is equal to empty. Requester has manager not empty. Then yes, else no. Yes, no. Okay. So I am just submitting this one. Once I submit this one, you can see there are actually two conditions. Yes condition, no condition. If you click on yes, double click on yes here, this is actually workflow condition. Yes condition. So in the yes condition, what is the condition that you written here? Activity dot result equal to yes. Activity dot result equal to yes. Then this condition will be executed. Okay. So I am just clicking on no now. I am just clicking on no now. So what is it written here? Activity dot result is equal to no. So in the scripting, in the if activity, in the scripting, what did we write here? What did we write here? Return yes, return no. If the manager is not empty, return yes. If the manager is empty, return no. That is what we have written here. Guys, in the if activity, you can write any server side scripting, guys, like glide record secure, glide aggregate, glide system, glide date time, glide schedule. So you can write any server side scripting here in the workflow activity. Okay. So what it does, it will actually check if the requester has manager or not. First thing. Okay. So if the requester has manager, I have to send an approval to the manager. So then I have to go to approval activities. These are actually approval activities. So earlier I have used conditional activity. So earlier I have used condition activity. That is actually if activity. That is for condition. Now I am actually using approval activity. So before I send the approval, I want to mark it as requested. Then I am using approval action. Okay. Before I send the approval, first of all, I want to mark the approval as requested. Okay. Mark, mark task as requested. Okay. Mark task as requested. So approval action. Okay. If it is yes, you are sending, you are keeping actually approval state as requested. So now you use approval user activity. So guys, approval action activity is used to set the approval status. See, if activity is used for conditions. Approval action activity is used to set the approval status. I'll show you in a minute practically. Okay. So after keeping the approval action as requested, I will send an approval to the requested for manager. So for that, I am using approval user activity here. Okay. Guys, here we don't have to use the condition here. Okay. Just scroll down. Approvers. Here you can select users, you can select groups here. You can select users here. You can select groups here. These are actually static users, static groups. But what I have to do, I have to send an approval to the requested for manager. See, let us say if I select able tutor here, it will always send approval to the able tutor. It will always send approval to the able tutor. That is not actually our requirement, right? What is our requirement? Requester's manager should receive the approval. If the requester is able tutor manager. If the requester is Abraham Lincoln manager. If the requester is Uday Gadiparthi's manager. So then in that case, we should not actually select the static values. These are actually static values. Static values means same values will be there always. If I have to send approval to the static members, it will always go to the same person. So groups. So if you select a particular group here, application development group. So I'm selecting application development group. So what it does, it will actually send an approval to the group members. Whenever you request the iPhone 16 Pro Max, it will actually send an approval to these group members. Always it will send an approval to these group members. So that is not actually our requirement, right? So what is our requirement? Our requirement is to send the requesters manager. Send approval to the requesters manager. So then I am using advanced scripting here. In the advanced scripting, you can actually uncomment this line of script. So this is actually answer array. This is array. In the array, in the answer dot push, you have to pass requesters manager. Requesters manager value you can pass it using current dot variables dot requested for dot manager. We can use dot working. Okay. So if you want to send a few other members as well, you can actually use multiple answer dot push. Okay. You can use multiple answer dot push. Okay. Well, here I am actually sending an approval to only the manager. Okay, fine. Well, here if you scroll down here, wait for. So wait for anyone to approve, everyone to approve, first response from anyone, condition based on script. Guys, here anyone to approve means if you have sent approval to 5 members, if any one person approved, that will be considered as approval. Okay, everyone to approve means all 5 members should approve. First response is rejected, it will be rejected. First response is approved, it will be approved. So if I select anyone to approve, you can see reject the approval. Okay. Um, everyone to approve, everyone should approve. First response from anyone means you can see rejection is going, rejection is actually disappearing. Because if the first response is rejecting, it will be rejected. If the first response is approving, it will be considered as approval. Condition based on script. So which we will be discussing in a minute. Okay. So I am just selecting anyone to approve here, guys. Okay. So here, when anyone reject the approval, wait for other responses before deciding it. Okay. For now, I am selecting this one. Okay. Approval column, approval field, approval journal column. Okay. Approval history. I'll tell you these fields. Okay. So you are just um, using approval user activity. So you are actually marking the approval as requested state. You are sending an approval. Once it is approved, once it is approved, I want to I want to create a task, catalog task. So you can see if you go to the tasks activity, you can see create catalog task. You can just pull this one. You can pull this one. Okay. So here in the create catalog task, you can actually select the priority. I am just selecting the priority as high. Wait for completion. Guys, this checkbox is checked means the workflow will wait for this task to be closed. If this checkbox is unchecked, workflow will not wait. Wait for completion checkbox is used to hold the workflow until this task is closed. Okay. If I scroll down here, so fulfillment group means assignment group. Okay. Fulfillment group means assignment group. You can create a group. Okay. And you can actually assign the task to respective group. So for the time being, I am actually assigning this particular uh, task to application development group. Okay. Please provide the mobile. Okay. So in the catalog task, there are actually multiple fields. In the catalog task name is catalog task table name is SC underscore task guys. SC underscore task is a catalog task table name. So in the catalog task table, we have multiple fields, right? You can see you have multiple fields. We have priority field, we have assignment group field, we have um, assigned to field, configuration item, state. So we have short description as well. So how can I fill all these field values? To fill all these field values, to fill all these field values, in the catalog task activity, there is an object called task object. Task. There is an object called task object. The task refers to SC underscore task here. Task refers to SC underscore task table. Okay. There is a task object. The task object refers to SC underscore task. Okay. So you can in the script tab, you can use advanced tab here. Okay. So task dot short description is equal to current dot short description. Okay. Please provide iPhone. Please provide the mobile I have kept here, right? Short description. This will be overridden by the script. This will be overridden by the script. Okay. Task dot description is equal to please send the mobile. Okay. This is the description that I am keeping here. Task dot cmdb underscore ca is equal to the configuration item system ID. Let me just select one configuration item. Okay. Just to submit this one. I am actually creating a catalog task, guys. Once manager has approved it, I am actually creating a catalog task. After completing the task, I want to send an email notification. I want to send an email notification. Then you have to go to notification activities. So I am using notification here. So when you use notification activity, you have to compose the email from zero. You have to compose the email. You have to keep the two person, CC person, BCC person, subject, body. You have to compose the email from zero when you use notification activity. Okay. Okay. who should receive it? Who should receive it? You should not select the static members here. It should be always requested for. Then I am selecting advanced checkbox here. So you can see set the variable answer to comma separated list of user or group system IDs that you want to that you want the email sent to. Then I am keeping answer is equal to current dot variables dot variables dot requested for. Okay. So two member subject. So dollar flower brackets number requested item number. So I want to I am not writing anything in the body. I am just showing this one. Okay, this is the email notification that I have composed. Once the task is closed, this email notification will be sent. Once this email notification is sent, I want to close the requested item. To close the requested item, I am using set values. Set values is actually part of utilities notification utilities activity. So in the utilities, you have set values activity. You have to pull it down here. Okay, close the requested item. So keep the state as um, closed complete. Okay, submit this one. So once the notification is sent out, it will actually keep the requested item as closed complete and it will end the workflow. This is the positive scenario. If the requester has manager and it will keep the approval state as requested, it will send an approval to the manager. Once manager approved it, it will create a task. Once task is closed, it will send an email notification. Once it has sent an email notification, the request item will be closed complete and you will end the workflow. Guys, make sure the workflow is actually coming till end. Make sure the workflow is not stuck in the middle. Suppose if you forget to add the line in the middle, the workflow will be struck. Okay, so we have to cross check it. We need to make sure the workflow is not stuck. Okay, so that is fine. So this is the positive scenario, guys. What about negative scenario? What about what if the manager is not actually there for requested for, and what if he rejected it? That is the negative scenario, right? So for that, I am actually using. Okay, for that, what I am doing is, okay, here I forgot to mention one thing. So after approval, I have to mark the approval state as requested. Sorry, approved. After the approval, here I have kept it requested, right? After approved it, I have to keep it in the approved state. Again, I am going to the approval activity, approval action, drag the approval action here, mark as approved, mark as approved. You tag this line here and you tag this line here. Okay, you clear, right? So if the manager has rejected it, I can copy this activity, right click, copy activity. So mark as rejected. So if the manager is not there, I want to mark the approval state as rejected. Okay, getting my point. So I want to, when it is rejected, I want to mark it as rejected. So I want to send an email notification. Closed incomplete I'm keeping here. Okay, closed incomplete means we haven't fulfilled. Okay, then I am actually marking the requested item as, I am marking the requested item as closed incomplete. This is the negative scenario, guys. Okay, this is actually if activity for conditions. This is actually to keep the approval status. This is actually to send the approvals. This is also to keep the approval status. This is actually task creation, catalog task creation. Catalog task means the task table name is SE underscore task. On that SE underscore task table, will this activity will create the record. Okay, notification activity. It will send an email. You have to compose the email from zero here. And it will actually set the requested item value. Set values will keep the requested item values. And then it will actually end the workflow. So then once you are done with the workflow design, you have to publish this one. You have to publish the workflow. Okay. You publish the workflow, right? You'll go to the catalog item again. We'll go to the maintain items. We'll go to the maintain items here. So in the maintain items, we have actually created a catalog item called iPhone 16 Pro Max. This is the catalog item that we created. Okay. In this catalog item, in the process engine, you have to attach that workflow. So iPhone 16 Pro Max, this is the workflow that we have actually created. That workflow, I'm actually attaching it here. Okay. So now the catalog form design part is done. Workflow design part is done. Okay. So I can actually access this catalog form in the service portal. I can actually access this catalog form by clicking on try it. Okay. So we'll try to do that same thing in the portal so that it will be very helpful. It will be very helpful. Okay. Fine. Well, here to navigate to the portal, we have to use /sp in the end. Go to request something, select a service catalog. Under services, you will be able to see iPhone 16 Pro Max catalog item. This is the catalog item that we have designed. So to this catalog item, we have attached the workflow. Okay. So first of all, I am selecting a person who has manager. Okay. We'll go to the users. Okay, this person name I am selecting, guys. Okay. Cowley. So this person has manager. This person has manager. Right. So I am selecting the color. I am selecting the storage, RAM, mobile number. This validation we are yet to discuss, right? We haven't discussed, right? We'll discuss it. Okay, you can submit this catalog item. Once you submit this catalog item, guys, remember, first a request will be created. A request will be created. Under the request, requested item will be created. Okay, getting my point. I am requesting the book. I am requesting the book. I am requesting the phone. So request is different, requested item is different. Okay, I am making a request. What is that request? iPhone request. I am making a request. What is that request? Book. Okay, so first it will create a request. That under that request item will be created. Okay, first of all, whenever I submit this one, it will create a request, guys. Under the request item will be created. So request is created first. Under the request item is created. Okay, so this is actually called requested item, guys. This is called requested item. So first what we will do is we'll just open the request. Let me just take the request number here. I am just opening the request here. So this is the request that is created when the catalog item is submitted. Under this request item is created. On this requested item, we created the workflow, guys. On this requested item table, we created the workflow. You understand why did I create a workflow on the requested item? Because we are requesting the requested item, right? That requested item is actually iPhone 16 Pro Max. Okay. On this requested item, we are actually creating the workflow. Okay. So you can see these are actually catalog variables. Catalog variables. These catalog variable values we are actually accessing in the workflow, guys. These catalog variable values we are accessing in the workflow using current dot variables dot variable name. These catalog item variable values we are accessing in the workflow using current dot variables dot variable name. Suppose if I have to access requested item values in the workflow. See, if I have to access catalog item variable values in the workflow, I have to use current dot variables dot variable name. What if I have to access requested item values in the workflow? You can use directly current object, current dot number. Current dot number means requested item number. Current dot cat item means catalog item system ID. So current dot request means request system ID. So you can get requested item values using current dot field name. You can get requested catalog variable values. You have to use current dot variables dot variable name. Okay. So we created a requested item, right? And in that requested item, okay, in that requested item, let me just there should be a workflow, right? That workflow is not actually appearing here. We created the workflow on the we created a workflow on which table? Requested item table. It is in the published state. Then why this is? I don't see workflow attached to this particular requested item. Mm, is that? Let me try to submit one more. We'll open this requested item here. Did we attach the workflow to the catalog item? We have attached the workflow. Then why this workflow is still not triggered? Hmm? It's not about negative path. We'll click on right here. Clicking on order now here. Request will be created. First request will be created. Then requested item is created. Guys, here, if you make a order in the Flipkart or Amazon, it will show the progress, right? This is like progress. Waiting for approval in progress, approvers. This guy. Okay. So let me just scroll down here. Why is this? So right click, configure, go to the form layout, add the approval state on the form. This approval state should be requested as per our. So guys, here workflow is not triggered actually. Workflow is not triggered. Mm. First of all, we'll check out this one. And here, go to the properties. In the properties, maybe because of this, scroll down. Mm. Diagram or view activities. Mm. We'll see the workflow context. No context is generated. No context is generated means not triggered. Hmm? No, no. If the workflow is triggered, then we can check if there is something wrong in the workflow or not. If the workflow itself is not triggered, means we have to troubleshoot it. Mm. It is published, but here we are able to see two here. So I have deleted the unpublished one. I have kept the published one as it is. Now we will try. Still the workflow has not triggered. You can see if the workflow is triggered, guys. You can see show workflow, something like that. You can see the workflow is not yet triggered. We have to identify the underlying reasons why the workflow has not triggered. We'll see for another catalog item. Is that same for Standard laptop. To this workflow, to this catalog item, this workflow is attached. Okay. We'll try to submit this one. On this one also, the workflow is not attached, guys. I think there must be a problem. There must be a problem. I have to identify this one. Maybe is that an instance issue, or is that issue only exists on your instance? You have to cross check. I'll give it right on my personal developer instance. I'll cross check and then I'll update you guys. Okay. So very first thing, what we have to understand here is that we have to create a workflow. To create the workflow, you have to go to workflow editor, and in the workflow editor, you have to go to workflow canvas. In the workflow canvas, you will be able to see begin activity and end activity. So in the middle, you can actually see so many activities. Those activities you can actually get it from core tab. In the core tab, you have actually different activities, different core activities. First, you have used condition activity. Then we have used approval action activity, approval user activity, approval action activity again, catalog task activity. Catalog task comes under task activities. Notification activity comes under notification activities. Set values comes under utilities. And we have actually positive condition, positive path and negative path. Okay. So likewise, we will actually tag this workflow to the catalog item. Getting my point, right? So guys, once you submit the catalog item, it will create a request. Under the request item will be created. As soon as the request item is created, this workflow will be attached. This workflow will be attached. Okay. So guys, for one requested item, there can be only one workflow attached. Getting my point, right? So you cannot actually trigger the same workflow for the same requested item multiple times. You cannot trigger the same workflow for same catalog item multiple times. One requested item, one workflow, only one time will be triggered. Okay. So we'll be discussing these remaining activities in Monday session, guys. Okay. Thank you, everyone.